What's one thing that you learned from watching crime documentaries?
Okay. I guess we're doing this. I've seen over, 800 true crime documentaries for my job as a true crime podcaster.
Here are some things that I've learned from watching a bunch of crime documentaries. Number one, locking your doors when you get in the car, when you get in the house, but especially when you get in the car. Like once you get in the car, lock the door.
Never light up a room. Never be the life of the party. Never go out of your way to help people.
If you've ever found yourself glued to a true crime documentary or podcast, you know how gripping they can be. But beyond the chilling stories and jaw-dropping twists, there are a lot of valuable lessons we can learn. In today's video, I'm diving into the key takeaways from true crime stories and how they can actually teach us about life, decision making, and even safety. Welcome guys to today's video. If you are new to this space, kindly subscribe to the channel, like the video, share, leave your thoughts in the comment section, and without wasting much of your time, let's get into it.
What's one thing that you learned from watching crime documentaries?
I have 5 actually, and let me tell you the 5 because I learned them in school. MYB, mind your business. The nosy neighbors always die second. Don't tell nobody nothing. Especially don't tell your best friend that you thought about doing it, you're gonna do it or didn't. Because I'm telling you, your best friend may help you hide the body, but when she gotta be a part of the accessory to the crime, she don't know who you or Ben and Jerry and Larry were. Have a good alibi. Studies show the most time serial killers get caught or killers get caught is their alibis or shit. Leave your phone at home and don't use your home computer because your information is always saved and your phone geotags everywhere. So if you're in the desert, it's going to geotag in the desert. Shut up, stupid. Let me explain. Most interrogations are used to eventually literally disorient and confuse you. So they want you to talk for 12 hours so that you shut up so you don't get caught. Just be quiet.
One thing that you learned from watching crime documentaries.
Okay. I guess we're doing this. I've seen over, 800 true crime documentaries for my job as a true crime podcaster. Here's what I learned. Don't be the reason people start locking their doors in your neighborhood. Lock your doors. Don't be the cautionary tale. You would be shocked how many times we hear people say, neighborhood is so safe, we don't even have to lock our doors. You gotta lock your door. You gotta lock your door. I don't care how safe you think your neighborhood is, lock your damn door.
Here are some things that I've learned from watching a bunch of crime documentaries. Number one, locking your doors when you get in the car, when you get in the house, but especially when you get in the car. Like once you get in the car, lock the door. No faffing around, no picking what music to play. Lock the door. Just lock the door. Number 2 is send your live location. And number 2A is make sure you send it for longer than you expect your journey to take. Example, on WhatsApp, you can send it for maximum of 8 hours. So if I know it's going to take me 15 minutes to get from A to B, I'm still putting it to maximum 8 hours because if something happens, they can track me for 8 hours as long as I have my phone on me. Number 3, don't always feel like you have to help strangers when they ask for help. I know it sounds like it goes against what you want to do, like you want to be helpful, but a lot of the time people get abducted or bad things happen because they were trying to help, and people know this, so they come to you under the guise of needing help. They'll be all right. They'll be okay. If it's a choice between you and them, choose you, and you don't always have to help. If it feels weird, if it feels off, don't help. Number 4 is sometimes reporting crimes or things that don't seem to be that deep is important. It could be the difference between catching someone and not catching someone. In loads of documentaries, somebody reports something that happened or someone who tried to do something to them, and then it ties back to something that they have already done, or they're able to go back to that particular thing when they commit future crimes. So yeah, those are my tips. If you have any more, leave them in the comments below. But for now,
Locking doors is very important. No matter how safe you think your neighborhood is, the importance of locking door cannot be overemphasized. There are cases where doors are locked and yet these EVIL guys still break in. Then imagine not locking the door. If you ever survive the attack, you get to blame yourself for the rest of your life. Also, true crime stories repeatedly emphasize that locking doors is one of the simplest yet most effective deterrents against crime. It's a small habit that can make a life or death difference.
If there's one thing that true crime has taught me, it's to always be a 365 days a year, no exception. Never light up a room. Never be the life of the party. Never go out of your way to help people. When you walk in a room, the energy should completely drain. Everybody should stop talking when you walk in that bitch. That's how you stay safe.
Here are some things I learned from watching true crime. Number 1 is don't ever let a man put his hands on you. Trust me, it's always going to get worse. From the first time, it's gonna get worse. And a lot of the times when these people get, it's always the boyfriend or the husband, and it all starts with just a little. So be careful. Number 2 is don't be leaving your kids with no strange man. So many times when there's a child that's missing or that was being SA'd, it always ends up being the stepdad or the boyfriend, the new boyfriend, and it's like, hello, don't leave your kids with these men if you don't know them like that. Number 3 is to let someone have your location at all time. Your best friend, your siblings, just let them know where you're going. If you're going on a date with someone on the internet, especially, let someone know your location. Give them your location. Girl, stick an air tag up your something. Okay, number 4 is if you know something's out of the ordinary from someone that you know, say something. Don't just let it get to the last minute where they're missing and then you're like, oh, I knew something was off because X, Y, and Z. No, if you feel something is off, say something. For number 5, it's something we've been told since we were little. Don't talk to strangers, like if you are somewhere where you don't know people, girl, don't be going to nobody's hotel. Don't be going to no one's house, no one's shed, like that's not safe. Just make sure that you are where you need to be, Don't be roaming off with Ted you just met at the fucking bunker bar. Like, no, girl, that does not sound safe. So those are some things I have learned. What have you learned from true crime? Because I love true crime. What have you guys learned? Tell me in the comments.
It is okay to want to help strangers, but with the way it's going right now in the world, helping strangers or even talking to strangers might not just be the thing. And also, as a single parent, especially single moms, as they seem to be the victims in most cases, avoid leaving your children alone with your new boyfriend. You cannot trust him. Your new boyfriend might just be the one that might, unalive your children. So avoid anything that's going to make you leave your children with them. And also sharing locations with family and friends have really helped in uncovering a lot of crime stories and resolving them too. So it's always good to share your location, especially when you're going to somewhere you're not so familiar with. Share with a friend, share with a family so that they are aware of where you are. Give updates where you're going out to somewhere you're not familiar with. Let your family members be aware in case anything happens, they can easily trace that place.
I love true crime, and here are 5 things that Dateline has taught me. Number 1, never, and I repeat, never, never, never put your life insurance policy in your spouse's name. Don't do it. I'm telling you right now, promise me, you won't do it. I think there's so many safer options here. I think you can have it go to your mom or dad or your sibling, someone you know it would be safe with and wouldn't use it against you or wouldn't want you gone so that they could get it. Number 2, I'm never gonna run alone at night or early in the morning. To be honest, I don't really like running anyway, so I'm probably not gonna do it ever, but especially alone. First case that comes to mind is Eliza Fletcher. Pretty recently was killed because she went on an early morning run. Didn't know her attacker. All he did was just saw the opportunity and took it. Be safe. Don't do that. Run in the middle of the day. Run on the treadmill at the gym. Run in your house. Don't run. Number 3, please don't get in the car with someone you don't know. I've seen so many cases where someone met someone for the first time in a car, at a park, whatever. Don't do that. Don't be dumb. And what you can do to avoid this, you're going on a first date, meet someone, drive yourself. Don't ever get in the car with someone you don't know. For Ubers, check to make sure it's your Uber first. Check the license plate, ask if this is your car. The craziest thing is, though, is that this happens so often. People take advantage of people who are naive enough to get in the car with someone they don't know. Even in a small town, at a bar, go home with someone, they offer to drive you home, you're a little drunk to drive. Don't do it. Don't do it. People always want to think this would never happen to me. I just live in wherever it's safe. It's not. There's always somebody in your town that's a real creeper and you can't trust. Number 4. If someone's lying, they'll usually not look you right in the face. I'm talking they're looking left, they're looking right, they're looking everywhere but at you. And why? Because they know that they're lying and they don't want to look you in the face. Which is crazy that someone who committed a crime would have such a big conscience, but for whatever reason, they do. I think first case that comes to mind is the Chris Watts case. After looking at all of the other video evidence that they have of him talking to the police and looking at videos with his neighbor, he's always kind of looking like this or like this and never right at them. And that right there proves how guilty he really is. I think not looking you in the eye can be compared to like how a child would be when they know they did something wrong. They won't look you right in the face. They'll kind of look all around. It's the same kind of behavior, just you're seeing it as an adult who clearly is not mentally well. Finally, number 5. Don't ever talk to the police without an attorney. I don't care if you're the most innocent person on the entire planet and you know you did nothing wrong. If the police have enough reason to believe that you need to be questioned or taken in to do an interview, just get your attorney. Doesn't mean that you're going to get arrested or convicted for a crime. It also doesn't make you guilty for wanting to have your attorney present.
Avoiding walks in lonely or isolated places is a crucial safety measure, especially when looking at real-life crime stories. Many cases highlight how criminals target individuals in secluded areas where there are no witnesses and little chance of immediate help. So it's very important, and the reason for this is easy target for predators. When you find yourself in lonely places, it's just so easy for a predator to attack you, and lack of witnesses. There might not be somebody there that can probably, when they are trying to investigate the stories, that can come out there and say, okay, I was in this corner, I saw how these things happened. Then slower emergency response. Of course, when a place is lonely, secluded and isolated, before the emergency units will get there, it's going to take time. Then it's an increased risk of adoption. We've had cases where people are adopted mostly in secluded and isolated places, and wildlife and other hazards too are one of the reasons why you should avoid walking in a lonely or isolated places.
What's one thing that you learned from watching crime documentaries? I'll go first.
If you have a smile that can light up a room, if you're the type of person who would give someone the shirt off your back, if you're the type of person who has no enemies, none whatsoever, if you've ever been described as the life of the party, if you're the type of person that has limitless potential, if you have a mom that loves you unconditionally and has a really, really good crying face, like, or if you have none of those characteristics but you exercise outside a lot, if any of that sounds like you just might be the next murder victim.
What's one thing that you learned from watching crime documentaries?
That cops aren't looking to solve a crime, they are looking to close a case. And 9 times out of 10, they will choose the easiest target that closes that case for them. Very rarely is justice actually done. What I've learned from true crime documentaries is that our system is fundamentally broken. And I know that's not a surprise to disenfranchised and vulnerable populations. But the one thing that I'm hoping that comes out of true crime being so popular now is that it sheds a spotlight on the lack of resources, the incompetence, the outright corruption in our justice system. And maybe we can use that to squeeze out a modicum of positive change.
In today's world, safety is very important, and I've got some true crime inspired safety tips here for you. One of them is stick to well-lit populated areas. It's always good to have your environment, your surroundings well lit. Let someone know your route and estimated return time. Very, very important. And carry personal safety devices. Very important. Pepper sprays, whistles, self-defense tools, anything you know you can use to defend yourself. It's always good to have those things on you. Then also stay alert. Avoid distractions like headphones or texting. And this is one of the problems we have in this generation. Everybody is blocking their ears with headphones while they are walking on the road. You see people texting while crossing the road, even while driving too. These are very, very risky things. And also walk with a group whenever possible. Avoid walking alone. Always be in the group of people. True crime stories repeatedly prove that isolation makes individuals more vulnerable. Staying in public, well-monitored areas can be a simple but life-saving decision. So, guys, those are just some of the key lessons we can take away from true crime stories. While they may be entertaining, they also serve as important reminders about awareness, decision making, and the reality of human behavior. What do you think? Have you learned anything valuable from true crime stories? For me, yes, I have learned a lot and I have imbibed some of these safety tips. Kindly share your experiences and how you've been so careful watching true crime stories, and also kindly remember to subscribe to the channel, like the video, share, leave your thoughts in the comment section, and also hit the notification bell so you do not miss any future content. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye bye.